Casino workers of Reddit, what's the worst loss or worst case of gambling addiction you've seen? Ex-Aussie dealer here as well. Had a semi-regular play on my table, and it was pretty much one-on-one the entire night. They had been losing, but not an astronomical amount, maybe around 5k loss. I hadn't seen them for about a year, but didn't think. Much of it because of rotating shifts, games and areas, etc. Got to the point in the night where the pit was closing, so around 3 a.m., and they were pleading my supervisor to keep the table open so they could win back some of their money. The supervisor was having none of it, with a too bad so sad kind of attitude. Wasn't the best customer service, but it was the end of the night, and we had other $50 tables open they could go to. They then asked if they could get a complimentary room to stay, as they were one of the higher tier members, and they had dropped a bit of money. I think they assumed they had played enough to have gotten enough membership points to cover a room. Turns out they didn't and couldn't get a room for the night. They then broke down when they realized they didn't have enough money to get a cab home. They then proceeded to tell me how they had excluded themselves from the casino, which explained why I hadn't seen them for a while, as well as how they had spent so much time and money going to counseling, and now they were back at the casino and was so disappointed in themselves. They then told me their legitimate fears about their just-turned 18-year-old daughter, potentially picking up a gambling problem as well, because unfortunately, the casino was a night-out destination at the time, so the exposure was there. They were saying all of this while crying with their head down. The whole thing was devastating to watch, and I asked if they wanted to request gambling help. I also told my pit manager that they needed help. He just looked at them, locked up my float, and walked away. They didn't request any gambling help, and unfortunately you couldn't exclude someone from the casino at the time, unless they voluntarily requested it. Despite the clear admission of having gambling problems, the conditions where a casino would step in to support someone was limited to them voluntarily requesting help. Was hoping so much that they would say the words to request help, but they didn't. They got up and walked away with their head down, and I think it was the last time I ever saw them. They seemed like a legitimately nice person, especially compared to other regulars. This was probably a decade ago, and I still think about how they're doing every so often. Fortunately, I moved on from the casino and am no longer in that industry. Even before this incident, I was already 1 foot out the door. It's a horrible place to work in, though. The pay was comparatively good and gave me financial freedoms that I likely wouldn't have gotten elsewhere. It was always a bit of a moral dilemma for me.